Going for boost. Well, I think going for boost if you're a boost merchant, like someone like AJ or someone, you go for boost.
100% of the time.
Yes.
Always, every second of every game. Ball's going in your net, don't worry about it. Go get the boost and make sure you've got the full 100 to celebrate with the other team.
Oh God. Never. Yeah, never. Always go for full.
Yeah.
Number one rule of Rocket League.
Welcome to the Boost Over Ball podcast, where three aggressively average Rocket League players talk about everything RLCS with your hosts, Ace, Code Red Jack, Kyle Cube, and AJ Binky. So, if you've ever wondered when the best time to go for Boost Over Ball is, you've come to the right place.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Boost Over Ball podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of The Bubble Blast, a weekly episode here on the Boost Over Ball podcast. For those of you that don't want to check the Liquipedia page, then this is absolutely the show for you. This is a recap of all things bubble teams from the last week of tournament play. Learn how your favorite bubble teams are shaping up, who is king of the bubble, and what roster changes are happening. With myself, K-Cube, Kyle, and I'm here with Atomic. Our resident bubble expert. How's it going, man?
Yeah, ex-resident bubble expert. I've been slacking lately, K-Cube. I'm not really sure what's going on, but I will from time. I still know names. I still know what's going on. But I think my opinions are now sometimes dated. Like, I don't think I have too much recency bias with the bubble anymore. There's a couple other podcasts out there that do first touch, but yeah, I think I'm kind of losing my grip sometimes.
I kind of feel like that too, but I mean, it's just fun to be able to talk Rocket League. It's fun to be able to get back into it, and so I feel like the more episodes we do, the more fun I have doing the podcast, the more in tune I am with everything. But I mean, still, my predictions are shit. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah, so, K-Cube, I think, oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, later we're going to be, like you said, crowning that king of the bubble. I think that's very important. I think last week we did, you did Team Axel, so, thanks, kind of a bittersweet thing to hear. And I think I did G League.
Yes.
So that Game 5 series was absolutely something to watch. If you guys have not seen that somewhere on Twitch, or I think it's on YouTube somewhere. There's actually a bot I realized yesterday looking through YouTube. There is a bot that uploads all the VODs for every RLCS match that has an RLCS admin in it. I think they just do it through ball chasing. They just find out whatever it is. But so pretty cool stuff. You can always find it if you're looking for it. Let's go ahead and get into this open qualifier here for the European spring. Oh, okay, hold on. I like saying it this way. 1 second. It's the RLCS 2022-2023 Spring European Regional 2 Spring Cup open qualifier. I like saying the convoluted name.
Yeah, it's certainly a mouthful. But just like last episode, we will walk you through the open and closed qualifiers for the EU Spring Cup before jumping into our thoughts and analysis, and then finally crowning our king of the bubble for EU. And like Atomic said, we'll start out with the open qualifier. The teams we have qualifying through the upper bracket are Fast 4-Wheel Drive, Endpoint, Devil Fruit, and SK Gaming. Does anything stand out to you about the teams that qualified through upper brackets, or those that didn't?
Yeah, I gotta say, not even looking at the bottom of the bracket right now. We're just gonna pretend it doesn't exist, because honestly, it doesn't matter, right? It's crazy wild. They do have to beat Capybara Incorporated. Don't know what team that is. They're so far down the list, I will never know. And then they do lose 2-3 to SK Gaming. I don't want to see a little bit of a highlight of that game. Let's see how far it had to go here, K-Cube. 1 moment. I'm on the wrong thing. But, yeah, that one, wild, just not making it through top. And then 2.5 Men, obviously. I don't know what Devil Fruit is, but they got some Luffy, One Piece lore, plot armor going into them. They also win at 3-2. So all the upsets, 3-2, 3-2, 3-2. So they're all close games. I guess the topper tier, more known teams couldn't just finish it out.
Yeah, I mean, Devil Fruit has Stock A from former Vodafone Giants, Devoof, an Italian player, and Zame, another Spanish player. So Stockade name I've heard before. The other two not so much. So good for them for qualifying into the close qualifier, especially beating teams that we've kind of seen before.
Yeah, and I also wanted to go and mention that SK Gaming beat Wild 4-3. Not saying that SK Gaming is a surprise to me, but I think Wild are just a good team. They're a decent team. And they couldn't close it out there against SK. I mean, they even had the best of 3. They won. They won 3-2, then they lost 1-3, then they won 3-1 again. So they had the momentum going to the 4th game. They lost it 3-1, the same way they won it, and then just could not finish out their game 5. I just wanted to look at that. And did we already get to the bottom part there?
I was about to jump right into it. That's as good a transition
there
as
you
any.
I'm good at those.
Yeah, the teams we got qualifying through the lower brackets into the closed qualifier are 2.5 Men, mentioned earlier, Wild, mentioned earlier, Quadrant, and Team Husky.
Husky. Yeah, they got a husky as their team mascot. I like it. Up there for some of the best bubble profile pictures, team pictures, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, number 1 in my heart. You already know who it is. It's Hogan mode.
Oh yeah. Hard to hate
But
against.
I'm glad they
Hogan
made it.
mode.
No, you definitely can. I love the metallic feel of it. It's just too good of a logo that RLCS actually said no to it.
That's so funny. But with that being said, is anything that sticks out to you in these lower bracket open qualifiers or notable misses?
Yeah, I gotta say I miss Defiance not being in there. However, they did have to play their sub the entire tournament and almost made it to day 3. It seems that Spurg, one of the Norwegians there, I think all of them are Norwegian. No, one of them is Creamy's from Denmark, but he had to sub out their main player. So they did take it 3-2, I believe. Yeah. 3-2 over to 2.5 Men, who is obviously Speed, Ryzex, and Toxic. So some team name or some player names that you may have heard before. Wild, obviously, we get through, like you said. Pit Noobs, who is that? Have you ever heard of Pit Noobs?
I have not. It's 3 French players, so I'm kind of surprised that they didn't get an auto qualify bid. But
yeah,
no, I have not heard of these players before. Ziril, Shizy, and Mitzer.
Zari, I feel like Zari's a ones man. I that is just absolutely no basis except for it came into my mind when I said his name. So maybe he's a ones man. I hope he is. I hope he's good too.
I mean, I would tell you, but he does not have a Liquipedia page, so it makes it a little bit difficult to figure out who he is.
Yeah, I think honestly, a lot of the players in North America at this stage have Liquipedia pages. What is Europe doing? Are they just not playing anything else? Are they only doing RLCS qualifiers? What's going on? We got to get some people some Liquipedia pages. In fact, I'll vote for Pit Noobs as the wild one. You don't want to go against a team that has 3 non-Liquipedia players and 3 players you've never heard of. At least in my thing, because they just have nothing to lose.
No kidding. But one notable miss for me is a team called Sick losing out to Quadrant in lower bracket quarterfinals. That is a team of Flakes, J-Wets, and TikTok legend Durku.
Yeah, both the Darkus making their rounds. And on TikTok, you got Darku with an X and then Darku with a dot and then Darku, or there's 3, and then this Darku. Teaming up with Flakes. Okay, I gotta say, I think Flakes is still one of the most inspirational players to Rocket League to ever touch the game and not be that great. It's insane. But also his playstyle is just so different. He must be honestly teaching these young gents how to play the game. Let's actually take a look at Jay Wetz's Wikipedia page. I'm very curious. I want to see just how old he is. I bet you he was born in 2004. He's 19. I did not know that 2004 was 19 years old. Never mind. I'm going to go back. That's crazy.
Yeah, time is not a real thing. But yeah, so I mean, it's interesting to see Flakes making a return and, getting very close to qualifying for the close qualifiers. It's good to see for him. I certainly like watching his YouTube videos. Some of his takes on how to play threes are pretty commendable. I like his slower play style, but it's interesting that he's teaming with Durku, who is a more flashy mechanical player. So good for them to almost make it, but close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
I like that. Now, I did want to go ahead and just give one surprise that I see from all of this, and it is Bluey, a name that you may have seen before because he was on BS Plus, Guild Esports, FC Barcelona at the time, I believe, with Flakes. He's been on the PSG Esports roster, and he falls so far down, you got to look for it. Lower bracket round 3. That's right. He got beat. Wait. Sorry. Yeah, Savage? Yeah. No, that's Sick. I'm sorry. Savage and Sick are just two different things. Yeah, they made it. They did it. They were in the very left, lower bracket round 2. They barely made it to day 2. I think I'm just not speaking correctly. I think I just looked at the word Sick again. Yeah, they lost to three Palos, and 6 Huevos. Puppy, I don't know who. Yeah, that's crazy. Just 3 Spanish players. Well, good on to the Spanish players.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, Bluey is a name I have not heard in a while, but at one time was very prominent with FC Barcelona and BS Plus competition and others, like you said. So.
Yeah, and just to say, I forgot, I didn't realize it. Their name, the Spanish team they lost to, was 3 chickens and 6 eggs. That's what it translates to.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Okay, and then moving on to our closed qualifier. The teams that are moving on and into the EU Spring Cup are 2.5 Men, finishing 9-1, 3-0. Guild Esports going 3-0. SA going 3-1. Fast 4-Wheel Drive going 3-1. Devil Fruit going 3-1. Foofadop going 3-2. Monkeys going 3-2, and Monaco Esports going 3-2 as well.
Wow, I do want to touch about that 2.5 Men 9-0 or 9-1.
Yes.
They almost didn't make it, dog. They almost lost to Defiance. In fact, they almost lost to Defiance so hard that the game they had to win was 1-0, a 3-2 series. So in the lower side of that bracket, from the close qualifier, or open qualifier rather, into the just an insane glow up, I gotta say. So congratulations to 2.5 Men for I guess having a bad day, but also having an insane ceiling for the rest of the bubble.
Yeah, I mean, great mental to be able to turn that around and beat 3 pretty decent teams, especially, I mean, they beat Hogan Mode 3-1, which we could talk about notable missing names here in a second, but can't say enough good things about 2.5 Men. I think the biggest takeaway that I have from this is 6 of the 8 teams that qualified into the Spring Cup do not have org representation.
Yeah, that's the big meme. I think at the day whenever it happened, everyone was just kind of like, okay, maybe I didn't watch the closed qualifier. I didn't really feel like it, so I'm going to go and take a quick gander at the. Oh my God! It's every good team lost. I mean, look at it. Yeah, let's go ahead and highlight all the teams that lost. Williams Resolve, Hogan Mode, Wild, Quadrant. They have a thing in the game. Was Solary also, and then SK Gaming, Endpoint, Team Hosky. Now, obviously, fortunate. Or I guess a little bit unfortunate that it looks like they're all organized, organized teams and have like an org behind them, because they have pictures. But I mean, at least they went a step beyond and had like Adam Baguette give Hogan Mode like a little bit of a gold plate, right? They had Team Hosky created their own thing. These other teams don't even have a logo. That, like, I bet you they don't have a Twitter. I know Hogan Mode does because they post like the most obnoxious memes in the world. But yeah, it just looks insane. Just looking at it. If you screen grab this and sent it to me 2 years ago, I would say you're capping.
I mean, Quadrant, Lando Norris, the Formula One drivers team, Williams Resolve, organizationally backed, Solary, Endpoint, SK Gaming, like all these teams have like organizational support in some form or another, for sure. And it's interesting to see them. I mean, we're not that far removed from Endpoint competing for world championships, and now they're not even making the main event. I mean, it's up until this last weekend, I would have said maybe they're the NRG of EU, but I can't exactly say that anymore with NRG making a top 4. But that's it's something that I didn't expect.
Yeah, I mean, I got to say it's definitely Solary, right? You just got, I mean, that's just what it is. But you know, I got to go and look at Quadrant. I guess budget cuts have hit them because, well, if you go to their organization, you look at their achievements. Well, they've placed, you know, 9th or 12th, 3rd to 4th before. They've, you know, they did lose to Team Liquid at one point. I believe that was with Cash. In fact, let's go ahead and double check. Cash 2022.
Yep, with the Cash Cannon.
Yeah, I think I might be wrong. But man, the Cash Cannon is quite funny. I like that. That was on the episode today or this week, I believe, from Chalkcast.
Yeah.
And or last week. And then you also have, I mean, Solary to me is just a surprise every time they lose. I mean, obviously they have to go against Guild, a very established team. You know, Lewis P is and Gome are the two players that you kind of look at there, and you see Acro. But Solary, I'm always surprised. I mean, in fact, if you go ahead and hover over Solary and all their players, and you look at their coach, that's what I think they are.
Yeah.
They're finished.
Yeah, their coach's name is Finished. He's so. Is that T-Bates? Is that you?
Where?
Making a joke about people retiring. I mean, hey, if they enjoy competing, they enjoy competing. But you know, I love.
No, but don't. But let T-Bates tell you, okay? T-Bates will yell at you and say, "Hey, one time I beat." I think he said like I beat this one player, and he will hang it over your head. It's like I've beaten First Killer before. I've beaten this guy, and he's on the analyst desk, and I'm like, anyways, go ahead. Oh, what happened?
I heard he's on the analyst desk, and then you cut out.
Oh, no worries. Probably best that did. I just said that he's holding on to like his old United days.
Yeah. But I mean, hey, I loved watching Shotset work on PSG.
Yeah.
Certainly, Fairy Peak and KDOP. Everybody remembers their world championships and their runs. So, you know, it's fun to watch them play. But they have not had the results recently to back anything up. Not making a main event since the beginning of last split, I believe. But I mean, it's crazy to see this many orgless teams qualifying for the main event.
Yeah, and I mean, congratulations to them too, because it also shows that, you know, and this is a thing that I think plagues the Rocket League community, especially now in Europe. I think it was way worse in NA a long time ago, but now it is kind of gone down by the wayside just because of how many teams have moved to NA for some reason. Furia, Gen G, Complexity, to name a few. However, there's just a lot of ego, right? And now if you're on Williams Resolve, Breezy, Flame, Nowasaki, you know, if you're on Hogan mode, Scrub Killer, Growly, Rezi, if you're on Quadrant, I guess I actually don't, Casio. The time for an ego has passed, my friend. You need to now grind. If you are on 8 hours a week, you need to now step that up. You know, get that Rocket League open up that Baka spot, hit that training pack, because you are gonna get beat by the new and improved 16, 17, 18-year-olds.
Yeah, I mean, it now may be a good time to get into Rocket League in EU if you're an organization. There's 6 of the top 16 teams currently in the cup that are not represented by an org. You know, 5 of them don't even have Liquipedia page pictures, and you know, I think 2.5 Men with Speed, Rizex, and Toxic have looked good. Though Mike Boy and Hibbs.
Yeah.
Metsinaris with fast 4-wheel drive. I mean, these are teams that I think have some potential and could, you know, cause a little bit of chaos, I think.
Yeah, and I gotta, like, I think that you know, I think it's like the ex Susquehanna Sox or Sonics roster. After they canned him, I believe that was their team. I mean, as well, you look at Tho. He used to be on Stormtroopers. He was on Solary, and then he was on Sonics, and now he's on Sa. But yeah, I think personally, I think that they're just a very solid group of individuals. I think that you can rank them as any of the top EU like teams. I think he and his team can face them.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly an interesting time for EU, especially with so many teams tied up at the top, right? I mean, you think about like Karmine Corp, Team Liquid, Vitality, BDS, maybe Moist is trying to push their way into that conversation to, vying for that number 1 overall seed in spring. And after that, it kind of, can Oxygen be consistent? Can G1 close the gap? And then after that, it's really anybody who can kind of differentiate themselves, right? So, I mean,
Yep.
Guild hasn't made every main event. Monaco has made, the other regional in this event, but they didn't make a ton of noise. Same with Monkeys. So, there's a lot of team PSG Tundra, I think, are, have left a lot to be desired. So I think that they, someone needs to step up and differentiate themselves. And, why can't it be one of the teams that just qualified?
Yeah, and so with that, K-Cube, I mean, I think honestly we've got a pretty good understanding. Is this a time where we start just deciding who's the king of the bubble?
I think it's about that time.
Alrighty. Well, I mean, I've got one team in mind. I haven't mentioned them yet. I haven't even talked about them on a little bit on purpose also. But by vote, just 100% has to go to the Monkeys. You just spoken on earlier. I mean, they're just too consistent. Obviously, they do lose to 2.5 Men who, were peaking and then fast 4-wheel drive. Sorry, I was just choking just as much as Scrub Killer did. Holy shit. Anyways, so back to what I was saying. Monkeys is my king of the bubble this week, even though they don't really make it too far. They don't solidify themselves as like a 9-0, 9-0, whatever. I think they're very consistent. They're just a team that I think is a cut above the rest. Hogan Mode would have been it if they had made it. But I just spoke on their demise there. I don't want Scrub Killer to die off. I really do think that he's quite a talent. But Raziers to me, I mean, teaming up with Matean and Smokes, you're just gonna have a good time. But having that third of Raziers, the absolute menace. You've obviously seen what he did last year at Gamers 8. I don't think that was a fluke. I don't think it was a one-time thing. And if you've watched any of his gameplay, any of his streams, anything like that, you will have seen him just absolutely peak. And I always say this about once players, because he is one. When you take that extra step to be better, Raziers has done that. He will improve faster than you. He has the drive. I just believe it. And I think he will continue doing that until he gets, again, to a good team. He's just waiting for himself to, I guess, make it to the main event once again. I mean, I really am rooting for him.
That's a good one. I certainly think that they have the potential to make some noise. An unfortunate draw for them is they come up against BDS in round 1 of the cup. So I guess we will have to wait and see how they can perform.
Yeah, no, very much agreed.
For me, I picked Team Axel last time. I'm big on the mentality. I think that a good mental is half the battle. I think that you saw that with NRG's lower bracket run in the NA Spring Cup. And for me, that's got to be 2.5 Men. After barely squeaking through the open qualifiers to make the closed qualifier, they really turned it around, dropping one match in the closed qualifiers to Hogan Mode, and qualifying straight through. They have in my opinion, an extremely tough draw coming up against Vitality. But maybe you can kind of come out early and punch them in the face and see if anything happens. But I think that the mental game that they had will set them apart from some of the other teams that have not been performing lately.
All I'm saying is, imagine the news, okay? Imagine the headline, okay? GC in disguise tweets, 2.5 Men have 3-0'd, 4-0'd Team Vitality. Zed is finished. There's so much glory to be had here for 2.5 Men, and you just saw them breeze by. Is it likely? No. I would give them, honestly, I'll be nice, a 10% chance on beating Vitality, but that 10% chance is so much glory to be had. They just need to be on top of it, and Zed needs to be on the bottom again. I wonder how that will go. Obviously, I think Twitch chat, you're going to see it in the predictions. Vitality will absolutely storm the predictions. They will probably absolutely storm the game. So hoping for a 2.5 Men win right there.
I kind of hope the same, although it's a full French roster with the mastermind Farah himself coaching. So, I think he's a fantastic coach. I think they're a great team. So I was going to say their percentage is probably about 5%, but I would love to see it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I mean,
I was gonna say 5-2.
yeah, it's possible you get to see something like Complexity though. Complexity dropped out in lower bracket round 2 in the NA Spring Cup. It's possible to see regional winners drop out early. So that's either the beauty or the nightmare of this format. You don't get a lot of room for error.
Yeah, and I actually do want to play another little game here. So we've had the King of the Bubble. We've had, who's the biggest stinkers? Hogan mode, which was the answer. Oh, we didn't say it, but I'm just going to say it again. What is the team that you think has the ability to lose to one of these bubble teams the most? We do have BDS versus Monkeys, Vitality versus 2.5 Men, Moist versus Fufa X Drop, Liquid, 4-Wheel Drive, Guild, G1, Monaco, Oxygen, Tundra, Sa, and Karmine Corp, and Devil Fruit.
Is it a cop-out to say Oxygen?
No, that was mine.
Yeah. So, I mean, Oxygen has not looked very good, in my opinion. Monaco, just squeaked through in close qualifiers, but, they've been to regionals before. I have not seen enough out of the EXO pickup to know that team is solidified by any means. And, their major spot for the spring is not locked up by any means. I don't even think that they will make it, in my personal opinion. I think Karmine Corp, Vitality, Liquid have pretty much kind of solidified themselves as the top 3 in some order or another, right? And then you have BDS that are making a big push, but then that kind of really leaves one spot, and Moist, G1, PSG Tundra, Oxygen are kind of all fighting for that spot, but none of them have really separated themselves as of yet. I did see a tweet from the Cash Cannon saying that he's never grinded more for a regional than he has for this one. So I'll be very interested to see how they go. But I think Monaco has the best chance to upset one of the non-closed qualifier teams.
Yeah, and I got to agree. Obviously, Ixo, he did upgrade his teammates there. He's definitely done well for himself. The Jorius and Archie do the same. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a very big Jorius believer. I just think I don't know what it is about him. I don't know what it is that he portrays himself as. I don't know if this is even true. But from what it seems from the outside looking in, and I think this is the only logical answer you can see from Jorius as a player, his mental is in the bin always. Now, do I think it's in the bin because of him? No, I think sometimes, some player or team factors will play into that. And I think he even actually does have a better mental than most pros. But I think when he starts losing and when he has as good of a team as Archie and Ixo now, I think he kind of slugs himself a little bit too far down than he should allow himself. And I think that's kind of what has been the demise and has been the demise for Oxygen Esports. But I don't think that's all of it. I think that there's still obviously very big things for that man. But that's my stance at the current moment.
Yeah. Honorable mention for me, Sa over PSG Tundra. I don't think PSG looked that good in the last regional. I think while they have a good roster and a fantastic coach in Verge, Sa has kind of been, just been around. They've made some upsets before. I think that they'd probably be my second pick.
Yeah, I've got to say the movement of, I believe, it was Braziers. I just don't agree with. I think Braziers was the best player on that team at the time. But they did pick up in German Amigos. I think that's what it was, right? Yeah, it's just they just. I'm sorry. Yep. No, I completely butchered that. No, but Tundra had picked up Braziers in his team at the time. But yeah, I just don't think that they've really kind of got it. Plus, you got to hate on the logo. What is this, man? I don't want to see Paris Saint-Germain Esports and Tundra. I want to see like a conjunction of the two, but you just know that whenever they signed that contract, they were like, well, we're thinking about it doing this way. And they said, no. We want both the logos there. So now you're just going to see half of what you would have saw for a logo from both of them. So congratulations to you guys. You played yourselves. But yeah, that about does it for me here, Kate. Is there anything else you want to add?
Hey, I mean, I think the default Liquipedia no logo may be better than the double logo.
Yeah. I think RLCS may be even, they may want to do that more.
Yeah, they might. But with that being said, we'd like to thank you guys so much for listening. And please make sure to rate us wherever you listen to podcasts, as it really helps us out. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, join our Discord. All of those links are available on our website, www.boostoverball.com. Make sure to go follow Atomic on Twitter. You can hear more of his awesome takes. His links will be in the episode description. And as always, remember to choose Boost over Ball.
Thank you for listening to the Boost Over Ball podcast. Make sure to check out our website, www.boostoverball.com, and rate us wherever you listen to podcasts.